Hello, beautiful moms and entrepreneurs. My name is Charisse Walker, and I'm your host of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. This is a place where we come together to learn, grow, and inspire. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Hello, Unbreakable Mompreneurs. Today is about AI. We all hear it, we talk about it, and if you are running a business, AI needs to be a companion. It's just, in what way should it be a companion? So my name is Charisse Walker, your host, and today I'm here with Stephanie Sylvestre. And without further ado, Stephanie, why don't you introduce yourself to us?
So, Stephanie Sylvestre, I'm the co-founder of AvatarBuddy, and we create AI agents and digital twins to help amplify your employees and help you scale without adding headcount.
Thank you. So this is always timely. This is why I love these these podcasts, because I was scrolling yesterday on Facebook, right? And I came to this thing where they said for $69 lifetime, you can post on 20 different platforms and the AI will take care of it. And you can post up to 4 months in advance and schedule your time. And it's only a lifetime, $69. And I'm like, "Hmm, I'm going to do some research first." And I did not buy it, but we're inundated with people talking to us about AI. So what are some of the things that we need to know to be aware of when it comes to AI?
So, first of all, you want to think about AI like you're hiring an additional employee. Why are you hiring this employee? What problem do you have? And what are you trying to solve with that problem by hiring that employee?
Mhm.
That's the first thing. If you don't have an understanding of what the challenge is and what you're trying to address, then it's near impossible for you to really use AI properly. So that's the first thing. I mean, why am I hiring this employee? Why am I getting AI? Like, what is it that I want it to do? Clarity around that. Now you have clarity around it. Let's say you want AI because you want it to help you with your social media campaign, right? We should all be on social media because that's supposedly where everything is happening. And even if we're not on social media, what happens is when somebody's trying to procure your services, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to go search on you and they're going to go to social media platforms that they prefer. And if they don't see you, they might think, this might not be vetted right. So gone is the day of the blind meeting. Um, I want to know everything about you before I meet with you because I want to make sure that we're aligned and we're in the same camp and all that stuff. So it's important to have a social media presence. So let's say that that's what you're trying to solve for. Okay, so I want a social media presence. There's a particular way I want to show up on social media. Um, and now the question is, do you have the data for it, right? Do you have a brand foundation? Do you have your keywords? Do you have what is it that you want to know about, be known for? Do you have your brand positioning? Because if you don't have all of those things, having AI writing social media posts for you is not going to be helpful. So once you have your data, you have your goals. Now using AI to write your social media posts becomes easier because you can say, look, AI, you can even configure social media buddy if you want to. You say, look, I want to be known as XYZ. Here's all my collateral that I want you to use. And when you use those things, this is the tone, the energy that I want you to produce. Boom. The AI produces that.
That's a lot. But I love how you broke it down though, because I don't think most people think about the first two steps. I think they just think, I got to post, I got to post, I got to post. And it doesn't always go anywhere. And so that's really having a plan before you hire your buddy. And I love the word buddy. I think that's important. Definitely. So what are some of the mistakes besides the ones like not doing the first two steps have you seen that people make?
So people just tell me the prompts to write. I
Mm.
was like, well, prompts are kind of personal. I don't know what it is you're trying to accomplish. It's hard for me to tell you how to write, which prompts to write. So what I've done is my compromise is I say, here's a framework. You're writing a prompt. You need to tell the AI what role you want them to play. You want to be a social media influencer that has millions of followers and impressions. Then what action you wanted to take. I want you to write social media posts for LinkedIn, for TikTok, for Instagram, for Facebook, for X, whatever platforms you want. Those all those posts look different, even though I've seen people try to cross platform certain posts. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And then what is the outcome? You tell it how you want it to, what outcome you want it to have. Not the outcome, the output. What output, how you want it to put the information. And so as long as you understand, like tell it its role, what actions you want it to take, and what outputs you want, it should then be able to provide you with the support you need. And that sounds really simple. And you're like, oh, well, Stephanie, it makes it. I was like, because it's that simple. It's really that simple. But if you don't know what you're trying to do, that simple direction becomes a complete chaos and nightmare.
It does, and overwhelm, right? And 'cause it can be time consuming. The writing part isn't, but now you gotta post on all these sites. So when we think of AI or when we talk about AI, we talk about ChatGPT or something like that, right? But what are good platforms? Do you have a program or software program that you sell or you use to be able to cross post on multiple different platforms or
Well, first of all, I don't believe in auto posting. Uh, that's how you get into problems. So you don't want your AI agent just write in the post and then deciding to just post it.
right.
Somebody should be reviewing that. And for people that push back on you why you should have human in the loop, I say the AI has evolved to a 15-year-old. If you are comfortable giving your 15-year-old or any 15-year-old the keys to your kingdom and letting them run wild, interact with your most important customers, be in front of your boss without any kind of guardrails, then knock yourself out. That I mean, I don't know how many people are gonna do that. I don't know how many people on your podcast will feel like that makes sense. No, I mean, most people are just like start laughing when I say that because it sounds ridiculous and it is ridiculous. So have a platform, a solution to write your um your post for you, and then check it and then copy and paste it. I mean, it's not that hard. Copy and paste it into the things, schedule it if you need to schedule it. It goes from a torturous hour and a half exercise to a 10-minute exercise, but then at least you're controlling it. You know what it is. Because chances are you're going to probably have to edit just small, some of it not complete, but none of my social media posts written by AI is just copy paste. It's copy paste edit.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Well, especially
that's
I don't know what it is about my face, but AI does not like my face, no joke. And so, like, it's for
that's a good thing.
if you go look at the thumbnails, like my guests, they look the same. I do not. And I'm like, why do you not like me? And I'll actually say that. Why do you not like my face? Why do you have to change it all the time? But
That's
that's the
clever.
challenge is that sometimes you have to tweak stuff, even the images, because you're like, no, that's not okay. I cannot imagine not reviewing stuff and just letting it post. That's scary, actually.
Yeah. And so that's so if you're understanding where you want to go, you understand the data, then you can say, well, if I want to do XYZ, this is the person that would normally do it. Then you tell the AI, well, you behave like that person. Tell it the actions. The moment you tell it to behave like a particular person, it already kind of knows
Mhm.
how to behave, but then you just want to be a little bit more specific, give it a little bit more direction, and then tell you what the output looks like. That's it. And it sounds really simple, and it's because it is simple. You know, people always are like, "Can you do AI training?" And I'm like, it's a really hard thing for me to do because I was like, do do we teach each other how do we are you trained on how to be a human being? Like, we don't have classes to the nth degree on how to be a human being. I mean, like over the course of the years, they teach you how to be nice, be civil. In garden, they give you some rules on how to be somewhat civil as a human. But there's no structured class where even in kindergarten, there's no class that says, okay, today is going to be how to be a human today. You know, and even if you do cotillion and those other um, courses, they're less about how to be a human and how to sit around the table, how to use your utensils and stuff like that. So, um, an AI class training gets just to be interesting, and unless you want to do the heavy lifting of really deciding what your challenges are and your data, it's really not a helpful exercise for you.
That's interesting, and you're right, 'cause it's every industry is different, and then you gotta tailor it to yourself anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna go back with
Mhm.
software type programs. What are people do I buy into that $69 lifetime thing, or do you I'm not going to, but or do you recommend something else?
I mean, I don't want to be judgmental because I have no idea what you're talking about, but just as a company owner, why are you selling $69 lifetime
Mhm.
licenses? That doesn't sound like a sustainable business model. Um, Secondly, what do I have to give you in return for that $69? What are you going to do with that data that I'm going to give you for that $69? So I'm basically paying you to turn me into a product for somebody else, is what I hear from that.
Well, and the thing was, like, I read the reviews, so always do your research, don't just give people money, but it's like, "This is worthless, it's junk, the support is horrible, I can't get it to work," and I'm like, "Well, that's $69, like, no thanks."
Yeah, and you know, people sometime will bristle at my prices, and I say, you get support. You get a person, like, you don't even get support. You get a person that's actively thinking about your account, working with you every other month. We're sitting down. We're not waiting till there's a problem. We're sitting down with you and we're saying, okay, let's hear how things are going. How can we improve?
Mhm.
And so that's, you get what you pay for. So obviously I am biased towards my product. I think that our AI solution is a great solution for a small mid-sized company that's looking to do AI, wants to get the support, the consult, and so forth, and doesn't want to have to deal with building out an AI team, which it can be costly.
Mhm.
Um, and then you still don't know, how do I know that I got the right AI team, right?
Yeah.
Um, so so if you're obviously not going to go with me, Um, the next one is Google Notebook LM, because it's configured basically the way my solution is configured. And I believe that that's the right approach, right? So you have the Google Drive and you can give it documents. So you can create a small language model or data vault almost on the fly. And if you give the AI the data vault and tell it the data you want it to use, what you do is you reduce the likeliness is gonna hallucinate and make up stuff.
Okay.
And then it has some pre-canned agents that can do stuff on your behalf, like it will create a presentation for you, create a slide deck. And I use that sometimes, and it's pretty decent. It's not like the best, but
Right.
it's decent. And then you can just talk to it and interact with, like you're just using Gemini. So all in one interface, you have those three things. And our solution is pretty similar. We were out before Notebook LM, so sometimes I say these big companies are copying me, but
I like that.
it's more about, if you understand what you're doing, the solutions will pretty much look the same.
Mhm. So, building your business, first of all, what made you decide to focus on AI? We're gonna switch gears and go
Um,
to origin story.
I've been in tech for over 30 years, and I just decided in tech, you're constantly having to reinvent yourself or you become redundant. About 12 years ago. I was a CIO at the time, and I was trying to figure out what's the next thing that I need to learn, I need to understand, and it was virtual reality, augmented reality, or AI. And I looked at those two, virtual reality and augmented reality, and I thought virtual reality, well, that makes me sick, and it's a high friction
Mm.
space. So I'm like, this is not going to go anywhere fast. Augmented reality, again, it's lots of hardware and additional like really heavy software needed for that to work. So again, still high friction. And I said, well, AI is low friction and it runs those two things anyway. So I'll pick up with AI, and then I just evolved from there. And I was starting to do some initial research, and then a friend of mine said, why don't you use AI to, like, she was telling me what I could use AI to do. No, well, she was telling me about this AI thing that she had saw at when she was in China, and we were talking about how to solve mentorship, that we don't have enough people to mentor. Um, and then as she was talking, I was like, wait, what? We could create a digital twin. This is actually a good thing. We could create a digital twin, and if we create a digital twin, that would be awesome. Everybody could have this one loving adult in their life that believes in them more than they believe in themselves. What wonderful way the world could be. And as we were doing that, I thought, yeah, that's it. And we're off for the races. The first few years, everybody thought I was insane and laughed at me. COVID was the best thing that happened to my company, because then my developer had the time to sit down and focus and go, "Oh, this is what you mean."
Mm.
So we had the first prototype drop on Martin Luther King Day in 2021, and we have been evolving and iterating since then. We joined forces with OpenAI in fall of 2021, and then um, we went to market in in January 2023. We had already decided we are going to go to market in January 2023 when OpenAI dropped um, ChatGPT in November, and I was like, okay. Um, moving forward, it made sense. And since we've gone to market, we refined the concept of the small language model. Then in 24, we heard people come up with this concept called RAG, which is pretty similar. I don't like that terminology. I was like, clearly no woman was in the room when you guys came up with this terminology.
That's
It's the most offensive thing. I mean, and these tech bros do lots of stupid stuff, but I was like, man, this one takes the cake. And then we refined the process of building out on the back end a digital twin, and then last year we tested it with people that have low tech literacy, so that we could see how we could refine the process on the front end for people to give us the content. And that's been the 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 thing that we've been focusing on. So we're going to launch Mosaic Commons, which is a virtual community of digital twins. So imagine you can create a digital twin of yourself. People have access to you 24/7, and after you've passed on. I like to say it's a new asset class. Think about it this way. You can pass your digital twin down from generation to generation, and you can monetize your digital twin.
That is so cool. That's amazing. I saw a TV show on that recently where he had multiple people instead of just him. Okay, one last question is one thing that you wish you would have known when you're starting out your business, what would it be? That would have been a lot more helpful and saved you money or made you grow faster, quicker.
Maybe would have gotten more money on the front end before I started, because it's way more expensive than I thought it would be. But I think that I had to learn this stuff, right? I grow by learning, and some of the issues and some of the stuff that I had, I was just like, this is I had to go through the process and say, learn it to get to, this is stupid, this is not, this is good. Yeah, thank you for your advice, but we're closed with advice right now. We don't need any more advice on that topic. Somebody was like, hey, like this person wants to be your mentor. I was like, unless they're gonna bring me a whole bunch of leads, I'm good. Like, I just need leads right now. I don't need you to tell me anything else, because when we get the leads, we can convert them to customers. And once we get them as customers, we're holding on to them. Last year, our churn rate or customer retention was 97%.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we
Great.
we can hold on to them if we once we get them. So I think the one thing I would say is just trust your gut more. So people would tell you stuff, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. They're like, no, but it's different here. And then it was like, true to form, it just didn't make sense. So for all your listeners, especially all your women listeners, please lean into your instincts and your gut. It is way smarter than you think it is. Do not second guess yourself. If somebody tells you something and your spidey senses go off and says bad, bad, bad,
Mhm.
believe your spidey senses. If you come up with an idea and you play with it in your head over and over and over, and then you let it sit, and your instinct says, like, your instinct is going wild, like, yeah, we gotta do this, do it. Even if everybody else tells you it's crazy.
I absolutely love that advice, and that's so true. Well, Stephanie, if our listeners wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
They can reach out to me at Stephanie at AvatarBuddy.ai. You can look me up on LinkedIn. If you connect with me, just write a little note for when you connect and say you heard me on this podcast, and I'll be happily give you a half an hour just to chat, whatever. You just got off a meeting where somebody was like, hey, heard you on a podcast and wanted to just pick your brain. And she's doing a lot of similar things. I was like, well, this is how I would do it, this is how I did it. I don't mind co-sharing. There's 8 billion people in the world. I don't want to have to service all 8 billion people, so somebody else has to be a competitor of mine.
That is so sweet and so true. Well, thank you, Stephanie, for being on.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Unbreakable Mompreneurs, AI, it's coming, whether you like it or not, it's coming. And how you use it is going to affect how your company performs and how you can be more efficient. So if you're struggling, take up Stephanie's offer and call her and talk to her because she knows her stuff and she specializes in that. Go out and make it a great day. Beautiful moms, remember, you are unbreakable. Keep illuminating the world with your strength, pursuing your dreams, and reveling in the splendor of motherhood. This is Charisse Walker, bidding you farewell for now. Stay tuned for more empowering conversations on the next episode of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. Until then, keep shining bright. Signing off with love, Charisse Walker.